Hello, everybody. Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario, December 15th, 2025. Interesting day on the X feed. Was the big one was the the top story was this crazy shooting in Australia at Bondi Beach, I guess a famous beach in Australia, and these two guys, a father and son from Pakistan, shot up this Jewish Hanukkah celebration. And I guess they killed like 16 people and like injured dozens others. So it's pretty crazy, but it happened on the other side of the world, but it has a lot to do with Canada. Australia and Canada are very similar. And I'm actually quite surprised something like crazy terrorist attack or weird, like a mass attack, like in Europe, they're used to it, especially like at the Christmas markets. And Australia, not so much, but now I guess they've had incidents, but this one's a big one. But Canada has been very on the mass events of that nature, like that just happened in Australia. Canada has been very fortunate, and I'm kind of shocked, to be honest. It hasn't Something like that hasn't happened here. Knock on wood. Hopefully, it doesn't happen here. It's crazy shit. Crazy. And why would a father and son, like, who were they working for? Were they working alone? It's insane. So, yeah, that's crazy. The video is pretty crazy too. It's just weird. It's crazy. But the you can all agree we don't want people dying or getting shot. But the reaction, instead of saying, okay, why did this, like, what was the biggest thing about this is, oh, well, you imported millions of people from different societies and cultures. So you kind of increasing the likelihood of stuff like this. But instead of saying that, they said, oh, it's right. I don't know where the Premier of Australia said, the Prime Minister said, it's right wing extremism we have to fight. And so basically, the answer to this is instead of like closing the border and banning immigration from India, Pakistan, wherever, or banning mass immigration, instead of saying that, they're saying gun control, more gun grabs, more censorship. Uh, like they say, hate speech against Jews, like anti-Semitic speech, okay? But then they expand it to all sorts of different things once they start doing that. So yeah, instead of the obvious solution, which we've been saying for a long time, which is stop this insane policy of mass immigration. No, they say let's grab more guns or create more hate speech laws. That's unfortunate. That's all you see on X today. And also on X, you see the Europeans just keep saying they want to go to war with Russia or they're expecting a war with Russia. Who knows if it's all bullshit? I still can't believe they talk like that when they literally can't even control their own borders. And Canada's on the same page with these guys, like, or I mean, at least the traitor government of ours. Yeah, that's it. Those are the two top things. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, that shoot. I want to see if we can get some video. I'm sure I'll find it. This is the first thing about Ukraine. Most of my followers, okay, most of my followers already understood this, but it never hurts to hear John Mearsheimer lay out once again the reasons why the war in Ukraine began. Yes, they're trying to get this peace deal going. We'll see.
The Czech Republic come in. The Soviets. Let's talk about NATO expansion. Bill Clinton decides 1994 that he's going to expand NATO eastward. The Russians are adamantly opposed. In 1999, we have the first wave of expansion. Poland, Hungary, the Czech Republic come in. The Soviets scream, bloody murder. They do not want NATO expansion. We just shove it down their throat. Why do we shove it down their throat? Because they're weak. Same thing happens in 2004. Second big tranche of NATO expansion.
NATO's the ones
the Baltic states
saying,
Serbia,
"Oh, we got to go to war with Russia now."
Slovenia, Slovakia,
Hell bent on it.
Bulgaria and Romania come in to the alliance. The Russians again scream bloody murder. We shove it down their throat.
And they're doing like conscription in Germany.
2008, we say that Ukraine and Georgia will become part of NATO. And the Russians say this is not going to happen. But we do not back off because we think the Russians are weak and we can shove it down their throat again. But my general point to you here is that when you're weak in the international system, the more powerful great powers will take advantage of you. The United States is a ruthless great power. And the United States basically shoved NATO expansion down the Russians' throat until the war in Georgia in August 2008, and then, of course, the Ukraine war. In fact, the Ukraine crisis, which broke out in February of 2014, and then the war, of course, broke out in February of 2022. But again, in a system where there's no higher authority and you can't be certain that another state won't attack you, and that might be a very powerful state, you have a vested interest in being as powerful as possible. And every state understands this logic. So you have this intense security competition that takes place.
I thought it was more interesting, that highlight, but basically he's saying NATO expansion. But that's all NATO talks about, is going to war with Russia. I guess they really want to go to war with Russia. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese proposes tougher gun laws following ISIS attack in Sydney. They're saying it's an ISIS group, which, who knows? Probably. Yeah, who knows how much ISIS is in this country? But yeah, instead of like maybe closing the border, it's like tougher gun laws. Instead of ending mass immigration into the West from non-European countries, traitor politicians would rather enact more gun control and hate speech laws. Yes, exactly. That's what you get. Yeah. Here he talks about Anthony Albanese, I guess. This is the Prime Minister of Australia. He's talking about right-wing extremist groups. Let's see what he says here.
Of right-wing extremist groups as well, and we continue to work closely. We take Asia's advice very seriously. We work closely with them. We receive regular updates as well.
The leader of Australia.
Director General of Asia has warned about a range of threats, be it anti-Semitism, the rise of right-wing extremist groups as well. and we continue to work closely with our security agencies.
So
do you guys
pretty bad. Like
We take
literally, it was an ISIS father-son duo from Pakistan, and he has a nerve to say right-wing extremist. Like, it's crazy. It's like literally the diametric opposite. It's crazy when they say that. I can't believe that. The same type of government in Canada, though. All right. Right-wing extremist groups want to solve the problem. They want to deport the evildoers, the third worlders, the people destroying Australia. Yes, he's actually he's saying we're going to go after the people that are trying to solve the problem. It's crazy. The reaction is crazy because they can't admit the truth, that they're wrong. Instead of banning immigration from non-Western countries, they want to censor speech to fight hate. Ridiculous. So racial hatred laws must be tightened in wake of Bondi Beach massacre. That's another Australian, I think. Racial hatred laws must be tightened. And it's the same in Canada too. Alright, look at this guy. He says it remains. After the Bondi Beach incident yesterday, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the biggest threat is the far right, who are driving rising tensions in the community. He says it remains his top priority to implement gun law reform. No, nothing about mass immigration, of course. It's crazy. Prepare for your rights to be infringed upon in the name of stopping anti-Semitism. Yeah. So two dudes who supposedly work for ISIS are going to control all the fact that we're going to get censored just because they were let into the country. We're going to get punished for it. How about just don't let them into the country? There's this picture of this. Bondi Beach massacre is what globalizing the Intifada looks like. No, it's not globalizing the Intifada. It's letting in millions of people from the third world countries who have been killing each other for quite a long time. But I wish them the best in their homeland. So yeah, it's not globalizing the Intifada. It's total misdirection when they say that. I'm just trying to see if there's any. No. I want to see the video. Bondi Beach. Video. It's pretty crazy. Unless they scrubbed it all. It's a pretty famous beach here. Here, this is the guy getting tackled. I heard. Oh, there he goes. So he's tackling the one gunman, it looks like. And they say, he says he didn't shoot him because there wasn't any ammo left in the gun. Look at that, hey, crazy. Some of the cops, I guess, the women cops, froze during this whole thing. So at least this guy's had the wherewithal and the courage. I want to see any more video. Here's some more video. Look at that. So they're just firing. That's nuts. This could happen in Canada easily. Hopefully it doesn't, obviously. That's crazy. Where's the cops? And you think, this is the thing, Bondi, and I'm not saying that was deliberate, but it's kind of weird in more ineptitude that you got this beach which is supposedly world famous, and you think you'd have some cops, like it's summer season. You'd think you'd have some cops down there. Not necessarily for this stuff, but as a presence. Unless they were there and they just were just too scared to do anything. Look at that. He's waving them off. He's just shooting. I said that he's just shooting the people on the beach. That's crazy. And they weren't even expecting to come out of it alive because they're not trying to escape or anything. Crazy. This would be like a Wasaga beach in the middle of summer in Canada if someone was doing this. That'd be crazy. Or Grand Bend in London, here in Lambton County. Totally would be insane. There's tons of people. Easy. I don't want to give anybody any ideas here. I'm just saying it's a similar beach setting. So this is crazy. This guy's just sitting there videotaping it. He's holding this pretty steady, I have to admit. I don't know. I don't think I would. That's weird. Then he's getting a little closer. Holy shit. It's nuts. Wow. Okay, where are these cops here? I don't see the cops. That's nuts. These guys are stone cold. They brought a lot of ammo. Oh, did he get hit? So now they're getting fired on. It's crazy. This guy's holding the camera pretty steady. I can't believe it. I can't believe this guy's holding this camera steady as he is. Maybe he had one of those tripods.
Fuck yeah! Yeah, they got him. He's down, he's down. He's down.
I'm confused. When did the guy tackled the one guy? When did that happen? Maybe he crawled away. It's still going. Holy shit. Anyway, pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Two guys could do a lot of damage, it looks like. And they were trained good because they got a lot of people, unfortunately. Third world countries exist because they're full of third world people. They don't magically transform into enlightened liberals when you dump them in modern civilization. This is painfully obvious to anyone who hasn't had the brain rotted by 80 years of insane propaganda. Yeah. Literally, that's what people have been saying for years. And something like this happens. And they just don't want to admit they're wrong. All right. Okay. Sorry. I got too much stuff today. It's all the same stuff, though. All right, here we go. This is where I was, but we had to stop and watch the video. Okay, third world countries. There we go. They have turned an Islamic terrorist attack into a gun debate. Truly sickening. Yes, I can't believe they're doing that. Has nothing to do with the guns. You know, if they didn't have guns in Australia, they would have figured out some other way to take out a big bunch of people. Like whether it was with a car, a bomb, whatever. Guaranteed. Okay. Okay. Putin says UK is not a threat. He doesn't fear the UK because they can't even stop rubber boats invading their country or foreigners raping their women and kids. That's how I say it. I say the same thing. He also said the British people hate their leaders. So yeah, this is while the British are calling for their sons and daughters to go to war against Russia, and they basically destroyed Britain and their people, its people. And now they expect them to go to war for these warmongers, these globalist warmongers. I can't believe it. The chutzpah of them. All right. If they bring back mandatory military service for German men and a mandatory social service year for girls while flying in Afghans on charter planes who are going to end up in the welfare system, the AfD will get 40% of the next election, or there will be a revolution. Yeah, you'd think in Germany, people would be like, hey, we've brought in millions of crazy third world migrants from Afghanistan, Pakistan, everywhere. But we're going to go fight Russia, like send our kids to die in Russia, against Russia. It's so bizarre. So bizarre. But AfD, I don't know. They might be a sellout party too, who knows? There's this Australian Prime Minister, just like Mark Carney, the same ilk. Following a terrorist attack targeting Jews in Sydney by Islamic terrorists, Prime Minister of Australia warns about right-wing extremism. Yes. Because the Australian police and, national police or services have been going after a lot of the kind of the ethno-nationalist groups in Australia. One of them is, I think, NSN or whatever. And they spent a lot of time going after these guys, but not enough time going against the guys who are actually doing the shooting, the killing. It's pretty horrible. All right. Immigration is supposed to benefit your people and your nation. You get to choose who comes in, from where, and what number. The people purposely and indiscriminately flooding the West with millions of foreign men from incompatible cultures are committing treason. Yes, our leaders are traitors. For even Doug Ford at the provincial levels, trying his best to make Ontario India. It's crazy. It's like they think it's inevitable, so I might as well just get on board. Of course, that's what traitors do. Okay. Yesterday on the show, we explained to people that yesterday's events in Australia won't be used to deport millions of people. Of course not. Nor will it be used to stop immigration. Rather, it will, as always, be weaponized against white people. Anyone telling you otherwise is lying or, or is delusional. Yeah, it's weird how they do that, eh? Like, literally, this attack by Pakistani father-son duo is going to be blamed. It's going to be blamed on white people, or the white people, or the white groups, or the white any nationalist group is going to be targeted as a result of any of this legislation or police action. It's insane. I don't like it. There's this guy. There's a good Australian boy. You can have a high trust society, or you can have a multicultural society. You can't have both. Yep. Canada's coming. It's coming here. Whatever chicanery, it's coming. Whoever's behind it. Stopping mass migration from the third world, including India and Pakistan. Because Trump doesn't mention India. He mentions all the other third world places, but not India. Of course. Stopping mass migration from third world, including India and Pakistan, and remigrating the rest should be a top priority. Instead, our traitor leaders will respond with more gun bans and increased censorship. Yes. All right. Here's a good one. British regime unite for war with Russia. Also British regime import 15 million foreigners, jail people for complaining, call you a far-right racist. No one will fight for them. Yeah, I wonder who they're going to get to join the British Army. They're going to have to press them in like the British Empire did back in the day. Press gangs. They're going to need press gangs like Ukraine. I wouldn't doubt it. Australia considering... Here's Ryder. Do you see where this always ends up? The guns aren't the problem. We know what the problem is, but these governments go after law-abiding, lawful gun owners and claims they've done something to protect us. Yes. It's, 100%. If this beach attack happened in Canada, Mark Carney and all the Liberals would be saying the same thing. We got to do the gun bans. 100%. Here's a poll today. How do Canada's young people become its unhappiest generation? That's the easiest question ever. It's unhappy probably because of their traitor leaders selling out their future by importing millions of third world migrants. it's pretty obvious. The young kids know. They know. They know. But the question is, what are they going to do about it? That's the question. But yeah, you got all these kids who are going to figure out, like, there's not much of a future the way things are going. We're not going to vote our way out of this. So who knows what they'll do? Who knows what they'll get up to? Here's another thing. Canadian family says it's being... Oh, shit. Can I get a reconnection? There we go. Canadian family says it's being preyed upon by an Indian extortion gang. So this is in Caledon, which is Brampton, basically. So and you heard about their extortion, literally they call it extortion crisis in Surrey, BC. And now the same thing is in Brampton, extortion crisis. And how long before Canada turns into India? Surrey and Brampton obviously are lost, and the rest of Canada will be soon. So I mean, how long will it be until there's extortion in London, Ontario, or Kitchener, and people's businesses are getting shot up? It's ridiculous. And Indians extorting each other, right? But what happens when they start saying, hey, we got to start extorting, like, maybe old people or other people, you know, like, I don't know, what is it, an Indian thing? Is extortion an Indian thing? Like, it seems pretty rampant, because you don't hear of extortion gangs from other ethnicities. So I don't know, maybe I don't know. But yeah, that's all I hear now is extortion. Never heard that before. I know there was, to a degree, some extortion, but not on a widespread. All right. Next bit of good news. Dominion Society. This is Surrey demographic replacement. It's pretty depressing, actually. So look how it goes from mostly white heritage Canadian to visible minority. So 92%, now it goes to, from 92 to 30 or something, it said. That's crazy. 30%, yeah. 31%. That's insane. This is the real ethnic cleansing. Remigration is how we protect our unique identity from disappearing forever. Yeah, Surrey's gone. Same with Brampton. I don't know what you do there. You gotta wall it off. Alright. This is funny. It's true. Everybody's upset because, what happened in Australia. And they want to do all these hate laws, but they don't mind this stuff prints constantly the last 20, 30 years against a lot of anti-white literature and propaganda. But heaven forbid they do something about that. Same people who are demanding new anti-Semitism laws are the ones who are responsible for headlines like this. Yeah, all these. I've seen lots of these headlines. The latest one's a good one. Ooh. Here's this. Is this Syria? We already saw that. No. There we go. Alright, what's going on here? Okay. Next. This is a good meme. It's Japan. 2000, 2010, 2020. That's funny. They have like a regular population and then aging population with robots, and then aging less population but with robots. So basically Japanese are deciding we'd rather have less population than import replacements. But the West, or Europe, I say Canada too, instead of having grandma and grandpa and then they add more third world migrants, and then all third world migrants. That's the strategy. Yeah, I think Japan will totally quit on any multicultural experiment. There's Trump, Ford talking about Trump today. Oh my God. He's calling him a tyrant and says his approval rating is lowest it's been in 100 years. For him to call Trump a tyrant, this is the guy who was one of the worst COVID commies in North America and basically lied his way through. Who knows how much money was stolen, but killed who knows how many businesses, killed how many people. And he's going to talk about Trump being a tyrant. Fat trader, Doug Ford. All right. He's destroyed Ontario too because he wants to turn us into India. So, I mean, Trump's probably the same too. They're all traitors. This is a good one. Muslims kill Jews en masse. Jews kill Muslims en masse. But hey, fuck white people because they are the problem. The script is getting old. It is. They can go settle their problems over in the desert. All right. There's one BC. If you're in BC, that's a very interesting story. Here's this guy. He was at the Bondi Beach, and I guess he supposedly got nicked in the head by a bullet, but he got a good selfie out of it. That's weird. You should be the last thing on your mind is to take a selfie. That's weird. But I like this National Post headline. Mark Carney has inflamed anti-Semitism. Will Canada too pay a price? So Chairman McKenzie's like, is this a threat? Like I said, I would not be, I'm shocked we haven't had one of these events in Canada yet. Shocked. And, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen. We're talking about extortion. This is in Surrey, BC. Take a look at the picture of the crowd at an extortion town hall. We're at extortion town halls now. It's not a Canadian problem. It never has been. Stop mass immigrating the world's filth and deport the ones we brought in. So yeah, look at that. Like, it looks like you're in India solving some tribal dispute. This is Canada, though. Oh well. Heaven forbid you say something. Heaven forbid. All right, here's UK. Like I said, UK destroyed their country with mass immigration. But instead, they say UK sons and daughters need to be ready to fight amid growing Russian threats as head of armed forces. I wonder what the UK people think of all this. If they try asking Canadians to go fight Russia, I'd laugh in their face. They will. They will. It's crazy. War pigs. Globalist war pigs. This is horrible. A new bill makes it easier for children born or adopted abroad to become Canadian citizens. It came into effect. They voted it already, but it came into effect now. So I'm sure all the Indians will be lining up that paperwork for their 25 cousins. And who knows how much fraud there's going to be. Like, oh yeah, he's my kid. He's my kid. That's my kid too. We all have the same last name, so I'm sure they have to have medical documents and stuff. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I just wanted to read this article. It's chain migration, basically. Like, two parents that aren't born in Canada can leave Canada and have 20 kids, and they're all Canadian citizens. I believe. And it's retroactive too. And this is because a judge ruled we can't, it's illegal. So because of a judge, they're making thousands of new citizens out of nothing, out of thin air. Oh no. What did I do? Did the X crash? Yeah, it did. Doesn't want to open for me. Anyway, I don't want to open it anyway. But it basically opens like the floodgates to chain migrate, and people like the Indians are very good at paperwork when it comes to getting citizenship. So they're going to be utilizing this new chain migration bill. Of course, we're screwed. All right, this is another thing on the extortion. Canadian extortion victim speaks out. Bishi gang from India followed me to my brother's house and shot there too. They told me the next time the bullet would be in my forehead if I didn't pay the $2 million. Why did we import this? Yes. This is, do you know how much resources in courts and police they're spending on this crap? It's horrible. It's very bad. Very bad.
I can recognize the voice. They sent me voice message too.
They sent him a message saying they knew he moved to his brother's house, then attacked again.
It was a big noise. It's like glass breaking, or it was a really weird noise. I never heard that kind of noise.
So it's weird, like Indians have a need to rip each other off. Like they come to Canada and they extort each other. Or one extorts the other. It's such a weird thing. But obviously we have no vetting process because otherwise, they just let whoever in, right? Oh, you need a student visa? Oh, here you go. Or, it's ridiculous. Here's UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Threat from Russia is very clear. It's very real. It's not just in Ukraine. Let's see what he says.
Very clear, very real. It's not just in because the threat from Russia is very clear, very real. It's not just in Ukraine.
And you can see him.
Because the threat from Russia.
Yeah, this guy. Look at this guy. Would you follow this? Would you send your kids to die for this guy? It's crazy. Total war pig. All right. Globalist war pig. All right. I think this is the last one. Yes. But yeah, they're so desperate to get into war with Russia. It's sickening. Canada too. So this is the last one, which is something to watch. This is the final thing. Is everybody's basically accepted the fact that Mark Carney's going to have a liberal majority because they're expecting a couple more. He's only one short, and they're expecting a couple more conservatives to jump ship. For some, I don't know why they're conservative if they're jumping ship to the liberals, but so that'll be something to watch. Just as Pierre's heading into his leadership review in January. So that'll be probably something that will be developing because January ain't far away. It's like a month away. So this is like a taste of something to come. So this is a liberal guy saying about the chance of more conservative MPs crossing the floor.
Ready to defect?
It's interesting, his
you're
answer.
One away from a majority now. Do you think you can convince more to come over? Is there some people ready to defect?
Let's say I'm getting lots of inquiries.
So that was an interesting answer. That's
you're
like a government house leader or whatever. I don't even know his name, but I know his name. But so yeah, I wonder who they are. But it just shows that they're uniparty. Like there's no difference between these two parties. But it looks like we're going to be stuck with a liberal majority, and then who knows what stuff they're going to try and pull on us. Oh my God. All right. I'm not worried about it. We'll just enjoy the Christmas season. So the next broadcast will be Tuesday, December 16th. See what happens. Until then, have a nice night.